Hello, everybody. I hope you've had an amazing weekend so far. It is your boy Trix, and today we're going to be doing some Python. Um, as you guys can see, my background has changed again. We will be using Qtile throughout me learning Python. I spent, I think, 2 or 3 hours yesterday just configuring Qtile from absolutely nothing to what it is right now. Um, so just to give you a brief rundown of my config, as I'm probably going to make a what's it called, blog post about it later, but just so that people can see what my config currently looks like, because I don't want to make my dot files public unless someone actually asks, hey, can they see my dot files? Don't have that much cool stuff in there anyway. So if I go into file and I just open up them, everybody knows favorite ID is them. So in here we've got our wallpaper, screens, which is just screens, just screen config. I think I stole that from someone for my screen config, just because I have a multi-monitor setup and I didn't want to always have to do my bar and my screens all together. I knew I could just use a loop. I just didn't know what the code was to use xrender, so I just stole it from someone. Then I got my layouts, just normal layouts, keybinds, nothing fancy, groups. I stole the groups from CozyTile. Then we've got floating window snapping. That's from Qtile examples. Then I've got start code, which is just floating layouts, auto start, and then disabling Roland, as I'm using an NVIDIA GPU and it doesn't play nicely. Then I've got my bar config. This bar was completely stolen from CozyTile, so the whole bar here is just from CozyTile. That's all. And same with this assets folder, literally just the CozyTile images, and that's it. Auto start, just running PyCon and nmapplet, but besides that, everything else is pretty much stock. The rounded corners, the gaps, I configured myself. But yeah, the only things I did change about this bar was that this will run my roti prompts to do my power menu, and this does my roti prompt for my runner. And what you can't see is, because of how Qtile handles sys trays, you can only have one sys tray. So on my left monitor, where OBS is, I have my sys tray right next to my RAM usage and then battery volume. Volume is working, it's just I've muted my desktop volume. For some reason this doesn't update correctly. Could probably look into it, haven't been that bothered. And then just clock. This is to switch between layouts, so kind of like how Awesome has it, where you have your layout toggle, but you can also switch by just doing the hotkey. The only key binds that I haven't done yet, and it's just because I haven't really needed to do it yet, was lock screen, which simple keybind I can just enable that nearly in 2 seconds. And the other one is to show the keybinds in a floating window. I tried doing it yesterday. That's why it took a couple hours, where I was trying to start a script that grips from keybinds. That's why keybinds looks very uniform right now, where everything's just on the same line to see all the keys. But the problem I was having was I got everything from key. I got everything before lazy, and I was able to grab the description correctly. It's just that when I tried to echo both of them at the same time, it wasn't writing each one. It was trying to run a command with both of them, which was very weird. I'll try to maybe use awk later and rewrite that just to see if I can get it working again. I'm gonna it might just be that I use awk grep and sed to grab all of the keybinds, write them into a file, and then just cat them from the file in like a floating Alacrity window or something, kind of like. So kind of what the opposite of what I do in i3, where I'm just catting the config file and then just grabbing them. I'll be catting it right into a file and then catting it from that file, just so I don't have to mess with using awk and sed. I mean awk and grep to render them correctly. But besides that, it looks pretty much okay. I was thinking maybe I should like split on description, so I have everything before, everything afterwards, and then I'll just have everything from key to description as the config. So for example, I'll do grep it's key this one apply. Yep, that needs to be a backslash. That needs to be a backslash too. There we go. So that gets all the keybinds, and then I would just use awk -f this and that this one. Oops, and then I'll do a there we go. So that gets me everything before description. Then when I want everything after description, I'll just retype. So I could just do one oh, it's what's it? It's this %s yes. How do I do it in what? Can I do it here? Okay, so instead of this, it's like that, right? Then I will just have there we go. For instance, I could do a sub on this with 1 and length $1 minus 3, I think that's it. Oh, it's that, isn't it? But you get the idea. Like, it's not that hard to do. It's just messing with it to make sure it looks the way I want it to. But I'm just going to save that to a file so I have that later. There we go. So anyway, I'm realizing that lots of people probably don't know what most of that was doing. This is using grep. This is regex matching on this first bit, as you could have multiple keys in there. I just want to have the line that says this. Then I'm saying I want to use awk to split on this clause, which is also doing a regex match, to make sure that you only split on a sequence. Oh, sorry, my face cam just paused for a minute. I've never had that happen before. That you only split on a sequence that says description desk equals. I'm pretty sure I could do the same thing by doing what's it called? It's this start. Oh no, it's going to do a regex match, so it's going to split on everything from there to description. Actually, I don't know if this will work, but I could potentially do that. Yeah. But anyway, this just splits on this matching group, so it only matches on description in the keybind, and then this prints the first and second elements from that split. So yeah, that's how you get the actual keybind and then the description on the left. And then I just need to map that to a hotkey, and then we're good. I'll probably just have it mapped to a, I don't know, probably a hot script that gets run when I do like mod S or something. Yeah, that's probably the safest one that I'll do. I'll just lazy spawn a terminal that just pops up, kind of like what mod enter does. Where's mod return? Here we go. Spawn a terminal. I'll just spawn like an alacrity window, kind of like what I do in i3, to spawn a floating window that just executes my script to show the keybinds. But yeah, anyway, now that I've done that, I was messing with that for like 3 hours the other day, and only now did I forget, oh, you need to do the string match needs to be done like that. Oh, Ref is a lovely language, isn't it? I mean, regex, sorry. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing some obey the testing vote. Yeah. Oof. Oof. I'm having flashbacks to when I started working. Ah. Yep. Yep. When you first come out of university and you're like, oh yeah, you're hot shit. You think that, oh yeah, you know everything. You're a good programmer and everything, and then it's like the first time that you come across, oh yeah. I don't know how this is for other universities, but when I was at uni and doing computer science, we weren't really taught about like testing frameworks and stuff. We were just told you can do them, and that was about it. That was all. And then if you actually implement tests and stuff, you would only do that on like group projects. You wouldn't do that on your own stuff because you were just building stuff that is set from like a specification. So you were just trying to get something to pass. You weren't actually using tests. Well, I didn't, at least. I don't know about other people. But it makes a lot more sense that you should be testing if you got a clear and distinct specification that you can work off of. Because you know, okay, cool, this is the thing that you need to do. You got your APIs and your methods. Just write it so that it passes, and that's it. Oh, times are so much simpler back then. And then you get into working into like a big code base or something, and you change one thing and multiple things break, and you're just sitting there like, what have I done? Oh, good times, good times. Yeah, Yep. Ooh, ooh. As soon as it said inheritance, ooh. Class hierarchies, ooh, ooh. Oh, this is why you never refactor early. So don't repeat yourself is very true. You should not repeat yourself as much as possible. But if you're going to do that, don't use inheritance. No, don't use inheritance. Don't use extends. Always use interfaces. Use composition if anything. If there's going to be like shared state or shared methods, right? That could just live in a class that's just shared between all of the other implementations, right? Like, let's say, for example, you've got an animal, you've got a human, you've got, I don't know, a car. You could have different implementations that all extend from some higher object or something. And they could all extend, and then when you need to add a new thing, like a robot, well, you're screwed. Because now, nothing shared between anything, right? But you still need to have those dead methods on that object. What you could do is, instead of extending from a higher class, have all of them just implement a singular interface, and then if you need to share state, move it into an object that implements that same interface, right? That object has methods on it that are customized for that object, right? Then you just pass it through to the objects that it needs to be part of. Let's say, for example, they all make sounds. Sure. Put sound into a different thing, pass it through to all the other ones. They all now have access to a sound method or something. Oh, they all take fuel. Fuel could be different for all of them, but they could all take fuel, put that fuel into a separate class or something, separate object that just has a fuel thing on there, and then that's just shared between all of them. Human fuel, food. Animal fuel, food. Car fuel, I don't know, petrol. Robot fuel, electricity, something. Just, yeah, think about using composition instead. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then you're checking a method and it overrides something, then you override something. That thing that it was overriding was calling a method that needs to be called now. That should be called. It's never been called now. You have a memory leak. You're screwed. Well, that's at least what happens in garbage collected languages. Well, it could happen in C++ too. Oh, that reminds me of one that happened the other day. We were consistently adding to a hash map, and then a method somewhere was overridden, was never removing from that hash map. We were like, why is there a memory leak? This shouldn't happen. We've been testing and like this never happened. Well, of course it's never going to happen. We haven't hit this case. So someone hits this case in production. Now you're always adding to this handler map. You're never removing from the handler map. You're running out of memory because nothing's removing from that handler map. Because your garbage collector isn't going to be like, oh, this memory's been dereferenced. It's still in your handler map, right? It's still in your handler map. It's still in your hash map or whatever, where you just are handling different things. Let's say, for example, I don't know, you're using it to keep state of, I don't know. Let's say, for example, you have you're handling. What's something common? What's something common? Let's say you're handling transactions, like you're working for a bank or something, and you have a client. They're making a transaction, and it gets put into this transaction map. Some state is being applied, and then later on it gets removed once your state's finished, so you don't have to keep count of it, right? It gets written to a database. Fair enough. Let's say, for example, something in that chain breaks. Now you're never recording that remove on that handler map. Your handler map still handling transactions, just never removing any transactions. Do you have enough memory to handle that? Probably not. So you get a memory leak. Never fun. Never fun. Good times. Yeah, 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 yeah. I've heard that as well. To be fair, I only use TDD when there's a bug in production, and I just work backwards. Yeah, I just want to say something about this. I understand that, and I do agree with that. But some of those unit tests are very stupid. Like, let's say, for example, you've got I don't know, a class that, a method that just takes in the number or something, right? Let's say it takes in an int. You've got all your logic suited around, oh, this int's going to be hit. Yes, you know it's never going to be like 0 or something because it's like an ever incrementing counter or something. Kind of like you're using I don't know, let's say you're using clock.minis or something, so it'll be a long, let's say it's long. You know that long's never going to overflow in your current lifetime. It's probably going to overflow like way down in the future, so you don't really have to worry about it. But you'll still have a unit test to worry about that case in the future, just because. Like, that's it. That is it. I understand using them if you know there's going to be logic that you think is gnarly. Like I've done that before where I've been like, if this changes in the future, someone needs to know this should break. So add a test there, like a unit test. If you're not sure how to reproduce it because I don't know, the logic is too complex or something, or there's lots of things that need to happen for it to get that to trigger, and you know writing a functional test or an integration test to do that is going to be way more difficult than just writing a unit test that you know is just bogus but it triggers this scenario. And I'd say then write it, because it's a lot better to have it as a unit test than to have it as a functional test that you're spending like 2 hours trying to write because you have to set up a ton of stuff just to hit one edge case. I don't think that makes sense. But for unit tests, definitely. I also, there's a senior developer I have who's a very big proponent of, if you don't need to mock it, don't mock it. If you need to mock it because the code to manage that is very hard, mock it, but we should then refactor it so it's easier to hit those cases, which makes sense. But the idea being, you shouldn't mock as much as possible. Try to keep everything as real as possible, because even though it's a unit test, because everything is very real and you haven't really turned anything into a mock, you're turning your unit test into functional tests. So your integration tests are just for things where lots of things need to be turned on, and it's complicated to try turning those things on all the time. So you're just going to do it in one class, and you know that class is just going to handle everything. Whereas for your unit test, if you know you don't have to set up that many things, it's just a little bit of a pain. You might as well just go through it. If it takes only a couple minutes to test that thing, if you don't need a mock, and mocking it is going to hide a bunch of stuff that you know is essential to that logic, don't turn it into a mock, because your mock is just, oh, I'm going to mock the return of this, oh, and this is cool. Doesn't make sense. Like, I think the only thing I ever mock in tests now is just a clock, and that's just so that I can ever increment a clock, and that's it. Everything else, I try not to mock as much as possible. And I do recommend try not to mock as much as possible. Yes, I am very similar. Cool. Well, I think I fall into this category considering all the languages I've touched. But cool. Cool. Firefox, nice. Yes, pre-packaged with Linux. Well, yeah. Ooh, I know that's not gonna work. Yeah, in Linux you have to actually specify Python 3 dot your version number. Let me see. Oh yeah, I forgot. I messed with my new version. I don't know if I said that on the stream yet. Actually. It's doing something. There we go. Okay, so let's see how it goes. I don't know if that'll work actually. Let's try. Selenium and LibreWolf. I don't know if that'll work. Selenium, LibreWolf. It's because I don't have Firefox installed. Dang. Yeah, okay. Cool. So what I need to do is I need to do a I'm literally having to install Firefox because of this. Amazing. Firefox should be packaged. Really sick. I don't know if this will work now. I just need to run the same thing where I do Gecko driver and then Firefox 13. If not, I can just install Gecko driver manually. I'd rather not do it. I'm also still going to default to using Evolve instead of Firefox because screw Firefox. Even though they're both based on the same source code. There we go. Gecko driver. That might have been bad. Mm. Don't know actually. Let's see. Yeah. Nice. Finally got Firefox working. Sick. Oh yeah, I forgot some people on what's it called? Some people on Windows don't have their have their terminal tell you what directory you're in. I'm just gonna skip this accompanying video. Let me just move to 3. Okay, let me into it. Then 2, then 1 shift 3. Oh, it took me to 3? Okay, I don't know if I like that. Who is he using Vim? Oh, he's using Vim. Beautiful. Ooh, I might want to have the screen next to me when I'm actually coding. E. What's your 3? Because I know it's going to take me there. Then nope. More tab. 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 Damn. It's no, NH, no, much go. Much go. There we go. Always forget which one it is. Hang on. There we go. I just knew my LSP wasn't working in Vim, so I was like, I'll just open up Helix because it's basically the same. Cool. Nice. Oh, I have to do like, yeah, there we go. If I do a Yazzie, I can probably see all the. Yep, that looks fine to me. I can do a Command Alt Shift. This one? No. Command. This one? No. Command Shift. This one? No. Command Alt Shift percentage split left, right? That makes sense. Which is fine. I would have rather had a horizontal split, but we can work with this. It's source.env slash bin slash activates. Then I'll run that again. Give it a second. Wait for it to load. Yeah. Then I'm just gonna go to git ignore Python and go Selenium's not there. Fair enough. There we go. Now I know what I was missing. And go virtual env It will. Or, you know, just make a get ignore. Like, use that to get a get ignore. Like, that's literally what I do all the time. Cool. I'm gonna call it here for today because I've been streaming for about 15 minutes, and I'll connect this up to a Git repository. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your week. Peace. See you tomorrow.